Hey everybody, so I just wanted to kind of do a follow-up on my first audition of 2019. I figured I'll do this a little more often just to kind of, for my own benefit, but also to let people know what the acting job is like, because honestly, the job of being an actor is getting a job as an actor. So this was my first audition for 2019. I got it through my manager, and it was a Stanley Steamer commercial. So the idea, there's several pieces that come together, but I had a little section in it, and the idea would be they wanted a dad type who was larger and who was sweaty from work and kind of gross. That they emphasized that, and basically would flop onto a couch with his shirt off and be all sticky and sweaty, and would go ahead and just relax and make a huge mess. And the idea for the commercial was, and it's supposed to be humorous, of course, the idea for the commercial is that they would have the Stanley Steamer pros come in and clean the couch and clean the floor and everything else. So I get in there, there's about 15 other guys, all roughly my size or bigger there, and I'm one of the last guys to actually go through. And this sucks sometimes, because the casting people made sure they let us know that they were in a rush. Either they had another job ahead of them, or they were behind for some reason, or they booked too many people for auditioning. I don't know what the reason was, but they were in a rush. So they weren't really allowing for extra takes or anything. And that's an undue pressure on an already very high pressure situation. And it just creates a lot of feel bads, because, you take pretty much my whole day had to take off to come down here, because I can't really, the audition day was at 12:30. And, I get here at, let's say, 12, and I'm done around 1. Unfortunately, if I want to do any background work, I have to book that the night before, and it's pretty much almost always all day long. So I can't do any more background work. I'll have to drive Uber tonight and hopefully make up some revenue. So, I mean, that's how auditions work, but, that is unfortunately what they do. So I get in there, and they mentioned they wanted to hear some male grunts, and I was thinking the choices I made were kind of like, let me do like a version of Al Bundy, basically. So I get in there, and I had placed a piece of candy in my pocket out of wrapper. So when I took it out of my pocket, it just looked like something I was kind of reaching out and just randomly grab like a gross dad would. I started off. I slated the casting director did say they liked my shirt. It's my bacon strip shirt that I don't know. I think it's lucky. It's never really booked me anything, but I like it. It gets attention. And I started, and basically I walked over from one side of the room to the other, and in that time that I walked over, I had sorry, I'm placing this on a garbage can in New York City to go ahead and film. It's not always the best. So basically, by the time I got to the couch that they had set up, and I had made choices in my head before I got in the room, and the way that they wanted me to flop on the couch completely changed those choices. So I had to, in 10 seconds, rethink what I was going to do. But hey, that's c'est la vie, right? So by the time I had walked in the room, I had taken off my hat, taken off my shirt, flopped on the couch, put my foot up to my face, my shoes were already off, and was sniffing my socks. And the intent was to realize, oh my God, these things smell, I stink, I'm sweaty, I'm gross all over. And that's more or less what I did. I flipped my socks off, and then I even unbuttoned my pants a little bit, put my hand down my pants, Jesus Christ, reached in and grabbed a piece of candy, threw it in my mouth, and they had a remote control on the couch, and I pretended to play with the remote, and that was it. How do I feel afterwards? Not the best. I feel like when I go in for dad roles, and this is what the manager finds for me sometimes, so it's not always the best relationship. I don't always feel daddish. I don't know how to grow that look. I feel like I'm still, early to mid 30s and hasn't really decided on his life choices yet. Maybe like outdoorsy woodsman type, maybe, Westerner who grew up on a farm, funny comedy frat boy. But dad type is a very common type that they're always casting for, and I really feel like it's not my niche. I don't know. We'll see. There'll be callbacks next week, but you never know, and that's more or less the fun of this process. So, okay. that's all I got for you today. Have a good one.